wow, the room you're in is so cool.
Thank you. This is my like little loft. I am very fortunate for finding this place, and I pay very cheap rent, so it's pretty great.
Amazing. Lucky you.
And I am 2 blocks from Cactus Club, where I intentionally moved here, where I have seen you perform multiple times. So
awesome. I love the Cactus Club.
Yeah. The first show I ever went to at Cactus Club was a Shannon the Clams show. So
what?
Yes, I got the.
Oh, that's a long dude. That's a long time ago.
Cut.
I was like, wow, I can't wait, because I have been such a fan for so long. I was like, here, we've got all the albums here. So
yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I am very happy to be talking to you, Shannon and Cody, and talking about the new album, Year of the Spider. Could you, I feel like I have known you both for so long, and especially like, I love these old album covers where it's like, it's both of you on here. Yeah. And how did you meet and start the band, and what did you want the band to be in those early days?
We met at art school. We both went to California College of the Arts and Crafts together.
Awesome.
And the tale goes that I didn't like Cody. He recently started saying that he didn't like me either, but I never heard that till recently. I just thought he was kind of rude to one of our teachers. She was like very sensitive and cried in class a lot. Cody was always late. And anywauld
it sounds like it sounds like you're thinking of a specific instance. Could you give an example?
Well, the other original member of Shannon and the Clams was in that class too, and he made the teacher cry.
Oh.
Right? Cody, help me out with this story.
I can't remember what he said, but he
was just a brat.
I don't know. Yeah, he was just like saying something about her career or something, or like being a teacher, or like being a failure or something horrible. But he just he like muttered it under his breath, but it was like she could hear it. Anyway, she started crying, and then I think we like canceled class or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Anyway, I never
did that. She didn't
come
back. He didn't do that, but he would come in late to class like every day, casual, not being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, everybody. It would just be like, of course I'm here, and I was like, what a brat. Anyway, then we had a video project, and everyone's video was so boring. And then I saw Cody's video, and I was blown away and thought it was so cool. It was he filmed a little tiny robot. It's not a robot. It's one of those little wind up things that hops around, but it looks like a robot, I think. And he put it to an all, what's that?
Kraftwerk.
German band, or Kraftwerk was the soundtrack. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. Maybe this guy doesn't suck as much as I think he does. And then meanwhile, he watched my video and he had the same thoughts about me.
Right.
Oh, she's actually cool soundtrack. Anyway, so I've been playing open mic nights at the encouragement of my brothers and friends. And I had that one brat guy in the band for a while. And then all our mutual friends were like, you should probably have Cody play in your band, because I think he gets what you're going for more than this other guy. The other guy was more like Sonic Youth shoegaze kind of thing.
Sure.
And Cody definitely had the sound. I just didn't know that. I was too afraid to be like, thanks for working with me, but I found something new. I was too afraid to do that. So I was like, I'll just stick with this guy for now.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm so glad I heard Cody play guitar, because it was like, oh, that's what is missing. That's what my band needs to become Shannon the Clams. That's the sound it needs. And then the rest is history.
How would you describe that sound, Cody? Because I remember hearing that for the first time too, and being like, this sounds, I was like, it was just like so perfect for the moment and for everything. It just felt like it was so revelatory when like hearing it for the first time. How would you describe that?
Man, I mean, it's pretty like raw and like blown out and blasted. There's not a lot going on. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think it was like sort of in the same spirit as like, shit, what's that band? Oh man, I think of this band. This is good radio, huh?
Well,
okay. I think it was in the same spirit of like the
Flat Duo
Gossip.
Jets.
No, well, yeah, like Flat Duo Jets, sure, and like the Gossip, which was around the same time. I'm just thinking of like that same period of just having like just guitar and drums and like a singer like right in the front, you know.
yeah.
And then like taking inspiration from all these like old pop songs, but then like crushing it down into like a really simplified, like reduced form.
Totally.
Yeah.
I had
and then like having a bunch of untrained people like do it in you know, their basement or whatever.
Yeah, I remember I had like just seen John Waters' Pink Flamingos, and I was like, this is like these songs could be on that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and he found the stuff like from that actual era that was like similarly made like probably in a DIY way by untrained people who were, you know, like just doing it. I mean, that was like sort of the same as like that early Sun Record stuff is like all these kids that like didn't know what they were doing, and then somebody just like put it on records. And some of it was like turned into hits and was amazing.
Yeah.
But I think it's like trying to capture that untrained energy.
Yeah. I think part of that was like you had that untrained energy, and it was like that early stuff was like it's like super blown out, and then Shannon, like your voice is like hero voice, you know, it's like you got like all of these like elements that are kind of like DIY and kind of like are rough around the edges, and then Shannon, your voice is just like so pure and so big, and it's just like is absolute like gem in the middle there. How did you discover that you like had this voice, or what did you want to do with it?
Well, I grew up listening to oldies, lots of girl groups and stuff like that. And then at this time, I started to get really into punk. Like I had a Thrasher skate rock tape that I was obsessed with all these like LA skate thrash bands. And then just listening to that, listening to a lot of Red Cross, and then listening to my regular oldies that have always been in my life. And I started to realize that there's this real parallel. You might think that those types of bands are complete opposites, but the thing that I think creates the parallel is the voice, like using that voice to cut through to every person listening. It's like, it's raw and wild, and you know, the punks are like wild animals, and that encapsulates what they're feeling, whereas the singers, like the Ronettes or something, or the Shangri-Las, it's like they're capturing their raw feelings in this different way. But I think that I just loved that, and then I loved the little fine line of where voices crackle and blow out.
Yes.
You know, just especially when they just do it sometimes, or like I always loved the song Angel Baby by Rosie and the Originals. I love the off saxophone solo. It's like so off key, but I feel like that somehow makes it feel more intimate, because it's like, oh yeah, you're just a person.
Yeah,
You're actually just like you're a person who's like playing this sax with all your might. You're not some like perfect person, or you're not some like thing that some genius created to be absolutely perfect. Like this is, you know, you spilling out.
Totally.
So I feel like I just loved the raw gutsiness of both things, and so it only felt natural. I saw this Flat Duo Jets video like the first time I'd ever heard them.
Uh-huh.
Are you familiar
No.
with, so Dexter Romweber that was his band.
They from
And,
Athens?
Yeah,
from Athens, right?
Okay.
Georgia. And I wish I knew where I came across this video, but I'd already started doing Shannon the Clams, which was just me at the time. I didn't have a band. I was just doing solo stuff.
This was like pre like YouTube. What? Because isn't this on a VHS tape or something?
No.
Oh,
no, this
really?
was on. Because I discovered this in the MySpace days.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought it was a tape. Never mind.
No, that sounds really cool though, and I wish that was the truth. But anyway, back in the MySpace days, somehow I stumbled upon this video of Flat Duo Jets covering a Buddy Holly song. And oddly enough, it was MTV, I'm pretty sure, who was interviewing Dexter Romweber. You should look this up after you talk to us. And Dexter is like showing them around. This is in the 80s, by the way. But Dexter's showing them around his like clubhouse called the Mausoleum. He was calling it the Moz. It's like where he hangs out, makes music and stuff. And at the end, it's just him and the drummer. They're a two-piece band playing Girl on My Mind by Buddy Holly. And it just has like so much reverb, and nothing is perfect, but it is the most beautiful version of that song ever. And it was like, there's other people like me in the world. I'd never even heard like a modern, you know, DIY garage band doing stuff that felt like, you know, it was dreamed in the 50s and 60s. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. So seeing that video was like, oh my God, I'm gonna push what I'm doing further. I love this.
Yeah. And like to that imperfection, it's like I love that you have like this like really pure voice, and then when you have those moments where it just like where it breaks, you know, and it's like that is like what I like love in those songs, when it's like you're going for it so hard that it's like, you know, it's gonna break, and that's just like what happens. Shannon,
and I can't force that either, because if I it's like I can't always plan for where the breaks are going to be. And I think that and those are my favorite parts too, when it happens. But it's like it's not totally sustainable. I took vocal lessons a few years ago just because I kept losing my voice on tour from going too hard and like wanting. Not only do I like the sound of the break, but that's where it feels good, like everything's happening correctly. It's like, oh yeah, you know. So I was losing my voice all the time on tour, and that sucks. It's devastating.
I bet.
It's like, I mean, we have an amazing band. Everyone in the band is so good, and of course people want to see them play. But if you take my voice out of the equation, it's different.
Yeah.
And so I started taking some vocal lessons because I was like, I'll do anything to stop losing my voice. But I was really afraid that by learning the proper way to sing was going to take all my character out of it.
Totally.
And that I wouldn't be able to do the breaks anymore. But it's not true. Like I took 3 classes from her, and it just taught me how to breathe correctly, which helps a lot, and how to sing higher and lower and warm ups and stuff. So it was, don't be afraid of taking care of yourself.
I was gonna say, what was the biggest thing that you learned out of that?
Honestly, breathing, like when to take breaths and like how to hold your head.
Weird.
It's really weird because like the way you hold your neck and your head, it like really helps with like maximizing the amount of airflow you have in and out, which is, you know, is what is getting the sound out.
Yeah.
So when to take a breath and how to move it in through your head. I learned what like head voices and stuff like that, how to sing from your head and how to sing from your stomach, from your diaphragm.
Wow.
Just learning that kind of stuff, but taking breaths and knowing like how much time I have. And you should never take a deep breath on stage. So a lot of the time I'd be like, da 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 da. So when you do the deep breath, it's actually stressing your vocal cords.
Wow.
It's like shredding them. And yeah, you got to keep them really moist. So you got to like drink lots of hot stuff and lots of steam and, you know, less alcohol and definitely no cigs and stuff. I don't know.
So
Anyway.
it didn't ruin the magic.
It didn't ruin the magic, but I am way more like careful now.
Yeah.
You know,
And you'll have a
which is
longer
good. I
career
should be
because of it.
I hope
Yeah.
so. I hope so.
So you're on Easy Eye Sound now. Cody, are you producing Year of the Spider? Did you?
No.
Okay.
No. I didn't do. Yeah, Dan did all the producing. I think we're all just like too busy in the studio to like split up our time with producing. You know what I mean?
But you did a bunch of the mixing.
I did. Well, I like sat in on mixing, I guess, to just oversee it. But I think I would really like producing though. I haven't really done it in a real way.
You'd be
But
good
I think
at
I would
it.
really like it. Yeah. But yeah, I think like the way I think at Easy Eye, like they want to do it all like in a week. So they just keep you really busy. Like performing and like getting the songs right. So
Those guys need vacations.
yeah.
They need to go to the Bahamas or to Fiji or something.
So
Yeah.
So it was produced with Dan in the room, and he was doing that.
Yeah.
What did he add to it or do that?
A lot.
You know, a lot.
He would, if you wanted to, if you were an artist and you wanted to like write your songs with him from scratch and then have him like produce and play on the songs and like get all of your musicians to, like, he would do all of that stuff. That's his ideal, I think, is to like be involved in every step.
How did you
the
feel
whole
about
album.
How did you feel about that, having been, you know, producing it? Did you feel like was there any tension there or what?
A relief.
Did you?
To not have to do anything. To like not have to be in charge of everything. I always like if I'm like involved in a project and there's any slack, I'm always like picking up all the slack and doing all the extra stuff, which is exhausting.
So you just
It's true. Cody is overworked in all aspects of the band. He deserves a raise.
Give me a raise, baby. Yeah, I mean it's like a huge relief to like roll in and like there's an excellent engineer and then a producer who's not like, the engineers just focus on the technical stuff, and then Dan, the producer, is like, he's not playing any instruments or like he wasn't writing on this record, so he's just sitting and watching us and like listening to it and trying to think. He's not trying, but he's just sort of letting like ideas come in, you know. So like all we have to do is just play the songs that we wrote, and then he comes in and he's like, let's cut out this, let's like rearrange this, the part's too long or something, or like you should play it way faster, stuff like that. And then in some songs like don't really get changed that much, like we'll come in and play them and he's like, that's perfect, like, exactly how it is. And then some songs will come in, he's like, yeah, it's not really working, I don't know, let's like try it way slower or like rearrange it. We did, for like a handful of songs out here, we did a lot of like rearranging, and then we had Greg Cartwright in there. Do you know that guy from the Raining Sound and
yeah, oh for sure,
Detroit Cobras?
Yeah, he was in there for a couple of days, like helping us sort of tune up the songs, like cut them down and like rearrange them and stuff like that. So I just, yeah, I just find it really relaxing to not have to do everything. And then he's he's really good at listening for like spaces where you could add instruments in. I mean, you can hear that on the record. There's like so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
And then the other guys, Nate and will like always have tons of ideas for. We'll just be like, we'll be doing the vocal part or something, and they're just listening in the other room. They're like, oh, let's like get this weird instrument on there.
And they can play like every instrument. So it's really cool to see them like switch back and forth and have the freedom to just experiment with different things.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. And like that studio's tuned, it's like really dialed in so that you never have to wait for anything to be changed over. Because I think, I mean, it seems like Dan has sort of like studied the way they used to do things in Nashville like 70 years ago, 60 years ago. And that they would like fly in an artist or a singer, and they would have 5 musicians, and they'd have like a band leader, and they would hear the song like 1 or 2 times, and they would just play it and like do like 4 takes, and like that was it.
The 18.
Yeah, exactly. And so he likes to work like that really fast, where you're not like messing around waiting for like some gear to get changed out or whatever. So everything is like really dialed in. So any idea you have is like, you could do it, you know, it would only take as long as the song is, you know, the songs, you just jump in there and like, it's already ready to go.
Who's writing the lyrics?
Both of us.
Yeah.
So we write like whatever song we sing lead on, we write lyrics on, but then sometimes like one of us will get stuck and someone else will have an idea or something. I feel like I learned a harsh lesson on like, if you don't get the lyrics right away, if you like write a song and have like filler lyrics and like leave it like that for a while, it's really hard to change it later. Like to go back and rewrite it or something is like, so it's like, just get it right from the beginning. Otherwise you've played it so many times that these like placeholder lyrics are like stuck in your head now and you can't change them.
Yeah, we learned that lesson.
Cody, what are you writing about these days?
I've been talking about this a lot. I got really into the idea of like not writing my own stories or like my own life stuff, but looking at like interesting or dramatic stuff that happened to people around me, and then writing it from their perspective, writing their stories. I don't know, it really is working for me, but I also have like a background in fiction writing, so I think I don't know, makes more sense, or maybe it's I've like practiced that way more, so it's way easier for me to do that. But yeah, I found I can like write really fast if I do that kind of method.
And what about you, Shannon?
What do I write about? Or
what are you
lately?
I mean, I always have to come from a personal place. If I don't come from writing from my own experiences, then it comes out, you know, wooden and soulless. And I think you can feel that. Maybe some people don't think so, but I can tell. I can usually tell when someone has a song that's about nothing or, you know, not a real experience. I think it is different the way Cody does it, where he's thinking of it as, I want to capture the story from someone else's life. I think that's different than being like, I have a song called I Love You, you know, and it's meaning, it's not, you're not thinking about someone that you actually love, or it's not based on any like true feelings. I have to come from a real spot.
What is Year of the Spider about?
So for me, it's about, I've had a petrifying arachnophobia my whole life.
Really?
And oh yeah, really bad. And ever since we named this record, I'm dealing with spiders every day. And lately I've been saving their lives, oddly enough. I've been rescuing them from swimming pools and rivers. yesterday I picked a huge cluster of grapes off my dad's. He has he's got some grapes growing in the backyard, and I pulled a cluster off, and then a bunch of freaking spiders fell out, and I was screaming, but I didn't kill them or anything. I just carried it inside, and I gently shook them off. Anyway, so my mom has always told me that spiders have been drawn to me my entire life. And she is not woo-woo at all. She's like recent ex-Mormon, very, anyways, but she says that they've always followed me around. Cody pulled a spider out of my hair the other day. It's crazy. Anyway, so I've felt haunted and tortured by them my whole life. And I had such a crazy 2019 and 2020. It was just like blow after blow after blow, and all like the scariest things that you can think of. It felt like they were all happening to me back to back. And at some point it was just like, if I'm going to survive all this stress, then I need to reframe all of this. I need to reframe all these situations. I have to find the good in them. I got to get out of this alive. And so I just started kind of thinking about the symbol of the spider for me in my life.
Yeah.
And how it's always symbolized like fear and the unknown and just feeling disgusting and terrified. And I just had to be like, no, spider, it's actually a creator. And they're really good for the ecosystem. It's ecosystem. It
That's right.
controls the, mosquito population. Those are really evil. And spiders are cool. They're really interesting. So I've just had to like
own it,
get into it. I've had to get into it in order to get through it and survive it. And normally maybe a couple of years ago, if I plucked a cluster of grapes off a vine and a bunch of spiders fell out, I probably would have screamed and thrown those grapes very far, and I would never have gone back in that backyard, most likely. But instead I had gently shook them off so they'd be safe on their way to a new home. Anyway.
Love that. Thank you for that insight. As we get to the end here, I want to come out of this and come out of each one and play a song. And so, Cody, what is a song recently that you like can't stop listening to or have been listening to a ton?
Oh yes. I've been listening to this song by the Stylistics, which is like, I think for the last couple of years has been like my favorite band of all bands. Do you know this band?
I do not.
Stylistics. You probably heard one of their songs.
You'll recognize some of it.
Yeah. This song called Pieces by Stylistics. It's actually it's not like typical that this song, because there's most of their songs are like slow, trippy ballads, and this one is like sort of more upbeat. But they do that song, You Make Me Feel Brand New. Do you know that song?
Oh, yeah.
You make me feel brand new. And then they have this song called Everything. Oh, You Are Everything. Do you know that song? It goes, you are everything and everything is you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely.
But yeah, this song Pieces is like a deep cut of their, like from a little bit later in their career, but it's good.
Right on. And Shannon, what's a song that you can't stop listening to?
I can't stop listening to this song called Hey Zanito by Los Zafiros. So it's H-E, and then the second word is Venido, excuse me, V-E-N-I-D-O, Venido, Hey Venido. Okay. It's a Cuban doo-wop band. But it's so much more than that. It's so not that simple. I'm totally obsessed. And I keep listening to it.
How did you discover this band?
I've really got into this band called Trio Las Panchas last year.
And how did you get into them?
My friend Audra and Spike, Spike Slauson is in that band, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have lots of similar musical taste, and him and his wife Audra, who I'm really good friends with, we just kind of send songs back and forth when we find them. Actually, me and Cody do that with Dan Auerbach too. He just sent me a song yesterday, and I just sent him some stuff.
Yeah, we send
Actually,
tracks.
That.
What I sent Dan yesterday was really good.
What was it?
Oh,
is it better than the song that you picked?
It's different. It's a difference.
And so and what do you like about Hayes Anitas?
It's like an emotional roller coaster, which is what that's the ride of my life, man. Like, I think I don't like a song unless it is some sort of emotional roller coaster, whether it's like lots of positive or lots of negative, or a way to wind them all together, you know, because I feel like that kind of emulates real life and being alive.
Right on.
So and it's just so beautiful, and the lead vocalist's voice is, I mean, it's insane. It goes so, there's so much falsetto, and the harmonies are really cool. Like, I wish we could just listen to it right now.
Me too.
Your listeners are lucky. Your listeners are lucky that they're about to listen to that.
Yes. Well, Shannon, Cody, thank you so much. Cody, thank you after your rocky morning with the kids.
Yeah, no problem.
And Shannon, thank you. I actually, when I was in 2013, I was an intern at 88.9, and I remember we had an afternoon drive host who does a segment called the 5 o'clock shadow, and I was trying to get him to play Runaway, your version of Runaway. And I think I like reached out to you on Twitter or something, and I was like, we're gonna play Runaway at this time, and like you tweeted it, and then this guy did not like me, and he like changed it at the last minute because he was like, I think we did Runaway recently, and I felt bad about that since 2013, so I wanted to apologize.
That's okay. You know what, you're forgiven. I forgive you.
You should feel bad.
What a brat. That guy's a brat. Is he still doing that?
Rude.
He's somewhere else now,
Rude.
so now I have his job, so
Cool. Okay.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and I can't wait to see you next time you come to Milwaukee.
Yeah,
And
man. Can't
the
wait.
Spider.
Yes. Well, I have a quick question.
Back.
Have you ever, do you know Saebra?
Yes.
Have you listened to Saebra and Carlyle?
Of course I have. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I love Saebra. We played with her the very first time we played Milwaukee a million years ago. And she had the most beautiful haunting voice. We played in like an abandoned theater, like a little DIY show. And, you know, I see her almost every time we go back to Milwaukee all through the years, but she recently mailed me her album, and I was totally blown away. So she should be, if she's not the superstar of Milwaukee right now, she should be.
I'm going to cut that clip, and I'm going to send it to her, and she'll be very happy. And and we love her and play her all the time. So
awesome.
Oh, good. Glad to hear.
All right. Well, thank you for all of this. And
thanks, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.